a debut on the London stage, a chance to show the world that we were rising stars. After nearly 2 decades of dancing, singing, and acting together, we were at last bursting onto a scene that we'd been clamoring for, with all the glamour and influence it brought. Hopes and dreams. But I couldn't help asking myself, did I want it? I'd been working since I was 8 years old. The sacrifices I'd made to get here, friendship, romance, rest from my constant exhaustion, a life. How much longer was I willing to put up with days that consisted only of rehearse, perform, sleep, on constant repeat? I didn't ask for this. Everyone keeps calling it the Ship Beautiful, but I don't see it, I teased. It's a massive hunk of black and white metal. I was nervous as hell about trudging up that gangway and onto a miraculously floating liner that looked heavy enough to sink. I tucked a loose, dark tendril beneath my camel cloche hat and prayed our ship didn't run into an iceberg like the Titanic had on its maiden voyage 11 years ago. The Aquitania had been built to emulate the Titanic in luxury and comfort, but at least this vessel was outfitted with enough lifeboats should we run into similar trouble. We weren't the first in our family to set sail. 4 years before I was born, Pop, now stuck back in Omaha, had made the trip from Austria to Ellis Island, leaving his parents and siblings behind. If he could survive a transatlantic voyage, then I supposed we could too. After all, we were living his dream a generation later, making it big on stage, something he'd wanted to do himself. Determination. Lost. I think my fear of drowning was now more figurative than literal. For the first 8 years of my life, I was Adele Astaire of Omaha, daughter of Fritz, an immigrant and a Catholic convert of Jewish-Austrian descent, and Joanna, a first-generation American Prussian. I was sister to Freddie from the time I was 3. Then, suddenly, I was Adele Astaire from New York City, a name that was less Austrian, less controversial, a name for a star. I'd been Adele Astaire for so long, I didn't even know who Adele Astaire was anymore, or whom she might have become. Sometimes I wanted to know. The rest of the time I brushed it off. After all, the show must go on. I set aside my nerves, letting my fear be overtaken by excitement about what this trip represented. A grander future. Our parents had sacrificed so much for us, practically everything, maybe even who they were. That reminder brought with it so many feelings. Fear of failure, an oppressive sense of obligation. Success was the only option. "There you are." Alex Aarons, our impresario, approached, a half-smoked cigar between his teeth. His wife was beside him, stylish in her fur-trimmed overcoat. Aarons had arranged for the show and our passage with a producer in London. "This is going to be a hoot." With our luggage taken by the porters, the 5 of us clambered up the gangway. Once on deck, I didn't want to go inside. Not yet. I looked back at the pier, at New York City, the way my father had seen it when he first arrived, the view of the city of dreams. How I used to think New York embodied mine. Now I wasn't so sure. I leaned my elbows against the rail, waiting for the ship to move, the coolness of the metal bar penetrating my coat. "What are you doing?" Freddie paused beside me. "Let's give them a goodbye that makes them eager to have us back," I said. The fame we'd garnered in the past few years of our acting circuit made us easily recognizable in a crowd. Part of me feared that leaving to tackle the world at the height of our success would mean starting over when we returned, working even harder. It had happened before, and I didn't think I had it in me to even try. "All right." Freddie shrugged as if it were nothing. I smiled, glad he was being a good sport rather than the killjoy he sometimes could be. We'd tried to stay inconspicuous dockside, not drawing the attention of the reporters, but with a barrier between us and them, I grabbed Freddie's hand and we waved to the crowd. The cries of excitement in response seemed to melt any last hesitation.